Hello and welcome to Only Stupid Answers. My name is Sam Bashor.
I'm DJ Wooldridge.
And joining us today, a very special guest, Mr. Josh Macuga.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm psyched to be
a
here.
little applause.
Oh, thank you. Stop it.
So you're joining us for a very special day.
Yes.
It's like a birthday. It's like an anniversary. Merry Christmas.
Yes, all of it.
Bad Boys 3 is finally hit theaters. January 17th is when everyone else can see it. But we were lucky enough to see it early, but you were even luckier to go to the world premiere.
Sam was cool enough. He texted me, and I think like the gods. I've been watching a lot of Vikings. The gods shone down on me because I was originally not supposed to be in town, right?
Oh, wow.
And so I got a text like last Thursday from the producer of the show I'm working on. I can't really talk about yet. And he was like, "We're going to push production about a week because we're working on a couple different things." And the first thing that popped in my head, I was like, "Text Sam, go to the Bad Boys premiere."
Yeah.
Right? And so you were cool enough to text me like, "Hey, I got tickets to the Bad Boys press screening. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "I'm going to be out of town." And then I think I literally texted you back like the next day.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm back. Like,
Yeah.
let's get to Bad Boys. Because Mark Ellis was cool enough to take my wife last night. Because those that didn't watch our Bad Boys 2 or the whole Bad Boys franchise that we talked about, my wedding ring says we ride together. My wife says we die together.
Yep.
Right? Like this is our movies.
Yeah.
Right? Bad Boys for life. We ended our vows with it, all that kind of stuff. And then a buddy of mine who was on The Bachelor, Jared Haben, was like, "Dude, I got tickets to the Bad Boys premiere. I'm not sure if you want to go." And I was like, "Man, I feel really bad because Sam asked me the press screening, but I think I'll understand if I got the premiere tickets, right?" So I wanted to ask the wife, like, "Are you cool if I go to the premiere and then you just go with Ellis on like a date night?" Right? And she was like, "Totally fine. You have to go to the premiere." And so went to the premiere. It was awesome. There was this moment. You know, we've been in this business forever. Like, we kind of get jaded with certain things, right? In entertainment, we get to go to press screenings. We're very lucky in what we do and what we're able to do. And I'm sitting there. I'm standing on like a carpet. There's cars. I'm in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard for my favorite movie all time, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that we never thought we'd see again, another Bad Boys movie. And like, I had one of those moments. I almost got emotional because it's a really special thing for me. Like, this was my brother and I's movie, then my wife loved it. And, there's something really magical about how lucky I got in this whole, deck of cards that got dealt to me with Bad Boys. And, I'm sitting there and there's the Porsche that he's driving, the motorcycle was on the thing. Like, there's girls doing pop and lock on stage. And then I see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I'm like, it just got almost overwhelming. And then the movie itself was just awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. This movie was awesome.
I'm excited to hop into it.
Let's go.
We were lucky.
Let's do it.
We were lucky enough to watch it last night, but we do want to do a little business up top.
Yes.
So, Bad Boys for Life is the third in a wonderful franchise created by Mr. Macuga. He's not directing it though; he's producing.
Yes.
It's directed by Arbi and Fallah. That's how they introduced him on the screen. We were watching the movie, but it's two new
Israeli
directors.
guys.
Yeah. And they were handpicked by Michael Bay, Will Smith, and Martin. It sounded like they just had a big committee and they just thumbs up, thumbs down for new directors.
Yeah.
So this is very exciting. And Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Vanessa Hudgens, and Alexander Ludwig. When we were talking off screen, he's in Vikings right now, and that's why he looked familiar. I'm like, why have you been on like posters at Comic-Con or something? I couldn't figure out. I was like, you're not a Marvel guy, but you probably will be soon. This is, what is it, 17 years after the last
2003,
movie?
July 18th, 2003 was Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, so we're rejoining Mike Lowry. Everybody says his name.
Mike Lowry.
And what was Martin Lawrence's character? Sorry, everyone else says
Marcus Burnett.
Thank you. I had to ask the expert. So we'll hop into it. You loved it. Kind of dive into it. What were some of your favorite parts? What were the standouts for you?
So I'll give you guys a little backstory on this. So Joe Carnahan, I don't know if you guys remember this, was signed on to direct 2 Bad Boys movies. Right?
Oh, wow.
Michael Bay and him had talked, and Will Smith loved a lot of the Joe Carnahan properties. He's an amazing guy. But I, from what I understand, is that there's creative differences. He's a tough guy. He's a hard-headed dude. Joe Carnahan is, and I think that Will Smith also is, and I think they probably butted heads. But Joe Carnahan came on Collider Live, R.I.P., and Joe Carnahan came on and he started talking about Bad Boys a little bit, and I was like, you got to understand, like, Bad Boys is my favorite movie, and he sent me a 2.5-minute animated thing of a car chase that he designed for the movie, right?
Nice.
Which was very similar to what we saw with the motorcycle chase. Like, there were similar elements to that, because he still got a writing credit on him, if you guys noticed that. And so I had this like vision in my mind of what he wanted to do with Bad Boys. So when he left the project and these guys signed on, I thought, okay, Will Smith is just going to bully these guys into what he wanted. I still think these guys got an amazing product. Very young guys. They're in their 20s. I mean, they're young directors. And for a franchise with a megastar like Will Smith and a megastar like Martin Lawrence, who already know the timing, who have all that kind of stuff, I would imagine they just rolled cameras and thought, just go with it.
Yeah.
Just do this kind of stuff. My favorite part of the whole movie is that in these moments of insane action, which is unlike any action movie you'll really see, like Hobbs and Shaw tried, they didn't have the same chemistry that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence had.
Yeah.
In these moments of insane action, Martin Lawrence is still making you laugh, right?
Oh, no, and it's what I missed the most because I was like, you watch the trailers for Bad Boys for Life, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. It just looks like Martin Lawrence is a little tired, and that's okay. Yep. That's fine.
It's also part of his character's bit.
It is, and so I'm glad that they leaned
yeah.
into it, and that's what it was one of my favorite. Anytime he was on screen, I was like, man, we'd watch every Martin Lawrence movie that came out. I don't care if it was Big Mama's House 4. I'd watch all of them, and we'd watch, like, National Security. That's still one of my favorites because it's Steve Zahn and Martin Lawrence teaming up.
National Security, super underrated.
Yes.
Like, that is a fantastic movie. We have such similar tastes.
We can do it at night. We'll watch some Martin Lawrence movies because I was just happy to see him again because the last movie I heard he was in, what I did not see, was the Matthew McConaughey Beach Bum movie. Yeah,
yes.
I didn't watch that movie.
He's good now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good.
Is the movie good?
It's interesting.
Okay.
It's an interesting movie. I like it. Wow, weird aside. Yeah, I like Beach Bum once I realized that Matthew McConaughey is the bad guy. That you're not supposed to be rooting for him. But it is. That's
Like
what made me
Uncut
enjoy
Gems.
it. That's what made me enjoy it. I think you could watch Beach Bum and think that he is a good guy. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's
So
like Uncut Gems.
It's like Uncut Gems, except Uncut Gems is unquestionably a better movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And by the way, we did a review for that, and the movie kicks all the ass. Anyways,
What, Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems.
Are you guys sports gamblers? This is totally off, but are you guys sports gamblers?
No, I don't gamble for anything. I have the worst luck in the world.
Okay. I'm a sports gambler. I have been for a long, long time. That movie gave me the worst panic attack I've had in a long time.
Oh yeah, no, I told this story as we were leaving.
Yeah.
My jaw hurt, and I was like, "What the hell?" And like, I realized I had been clenching it for 2 hours, and when I relaxed my jaw, I felt all the muscles in my scalp relax, and it hurt so bad.
Similarly, halfway through that movie, I had one of those moments. You know when you wake up from a nightmare and you have to remind yourself that everything's fine.
Sure.
About halfway through the movie, I just felt like, did I get in a fight with my wife? Did I forget something? Did I? Oh no, it's just the movie we're watching.
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life is not that.
It's not
going to be that.
that.
Actually, the response has been pretty positive so far. Currently, as of this recording on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 78% from critics,
Which is
shocking because
That's 36 reviews.
Yes.
yeah, because we looked up before this. We looked up Bad Boys 2, which has a 23%, and Bad Boys 1, which has a 42%.
Can you go back to Bad Boys 2 for a second?
Yeah.
The consensus is 2.5 hours of explosions and
Witless banter.
Witless banter.
That is an
banter.
insult to people that don't know what good banter is.
Also, that's the weirdest critic. Which writer did that?
I
at Rotten
don't
Tomatoes?
know.
That's so strange.
The consensus for Bad Boys for Life, the one that we're reviewing, loaded up with action and double helping of leading man charisma. Bad Boys for Life reinvigorates this long dormant franchise by playing squarely to its strengths.
That's a very
Yes.
Besides the Bad Boys 2
Nailed it.
consensus, they usually have pretty on point consensus for how I feel about it. Overall, for me,
Give it to me.
I enjoyed this movie and I was smiling throughout. There were some stuff that happened. I was like,
Yeah, well,
yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
But overall, the action, I was invested mainly because it could have just been hollow action, but Martin Lawrence's humor really elevated it for me. And Will Smith's like a superhero. I don't know how. I know he works out all the time and watches Instagram, but like he's genuinely like working his ass off. And Martin Lawrence doesn't have to.
No,
he
doesn't.
He can, and also, and another negative. I'll just throw it out really quick. Mostly there's CGI in this movie, not practical effects like in previous movies. Yeah, the fire, and like there are times where there's hand to hand between Will Smith and our main antagonist, where it's clear like he's not there right now. That's somebody else, and it's kind of weird how they sped it up, and they didn't do it practically. They did it with VFX. Regardless, that was not my favorite part, but overall, this movie gave us, while Michael Bay isn't directing, and you're kind of missing some of the cornerstones of a Michael Bay film.
Yeah. Well, you did get the one cornerstone shot, no spoilers, but you did get your Bad Boys them coming up into frame. And, and
Yeah.
spin.
Getting out of sports cars.
Like we talked about before, this no matter where they are, no matter what is happening, there's always at least one corner of the frame a scantily clad woman somewhere in the shot. But I wanted to ask you, you know, as a ride or die fan of the original Bad Boys,
well done.
We talked a little bit about this before we started rolling. What were your thoughts on this not being under Michael Bay's wing? Because even though there's elements that are like Michael Bay adjacent, there's a certain I mean, the way he makes movies, like it or hate it, it's bone deep. It speaks to who that man is as a person.
Yeah. I'm never going to be a Michael Bay apologist because I don't think I have to be. I think Michael Bay is awesome. Okay, like I'm not. Listen. I've never seen any of the Transformers movies after the first one. I was like,
wow, you have a great idea of those movies.
After they started making them with Mark Wahlberg, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Bumblebee and I really liked it.
Yeah.
But I don't think he did that movie.
No, he did not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't mind the first Transformers movie. Obviously, it's very misogynistic at points, but it is what it is. Michael Bay has made my it was like my coming of age in movies. The Rock, Bad Boys 2.
The Rock is real good.
Right? Like those are unbelievably good action movies.
Yeah.
Okay. And movies in general. Like you can poke holes in whatever you want. What I think is, did you guys watch Six Underground on Netflix?
I have not yet.
Which I did watch the opening to it, and I was liking what I was seeing so far.
It's like Michael Bay on Michael Bay steroids.
Nice.
And he directed
he has no barriers anymore. Someone just
none.
Like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, and Ryan Reynolds, you're improv the whole time. Everybody go.
Hey, we'll just take Deadpool and take him out and give him anyway.
Yeah.
The movie's incredible.
Yeah.
What you needed in this movie was you needed Michael Bay and like $40 million more dollars, maybe $20 million. I don't know, but there were certain scenes where I'm like, that could have gone on like 2.5 longer action sequences that Michael Bay would have just directed differently, more practical effects, right? More just certain reverse shots that you would have gotten from that. Like if you remember in Bad Boys 2, that car chase scene, which is at the point
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Right? Like it's insane. They're throwing cars off a truck.
Boat.
Yeah, boat, and then the boat. A boat, and then the captain's yelling. Right?
Yeah.
So there is something magical about those sequences because I compared it yesterday when I was talking to my buddy. We both said the same thing. You just missed Michael Bay and the budget that he could have gotten for this movie. Which to me, I don't know why he didn't do this movie. I really don't know.
He wanted to do Six Underground.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure because Will Smith posted a little while back of him like banging his head, and it was like trying to get Bad Boys made at Sony, right? So you got to realize that Sony was probably giving Michael Bay all kinds of crap. His franchise at Transformers is at Paramount, right? So Sony owes him nothing. Bad Boys has been dormant for 17 years. They're like, what are we going to get out of this movie?
And minus the Spectrum TV show.
Which none of us have seen.
Nope.
And I was so bummed out that the car chase scene at the beginning, I'll just say I was bummed out that Gabrielle Union was not in this movie. Spoiler, you guys didn't see her in the trailer. You didn't think she would probably show up. There is an amazing cameo, though, that I'm not giving away.
Yes, there
an
is.
amazing shot, like an homage to that situation. But I will say this. Without that $20 to $30 million and Michael Bay, you just lost like a little bit of je ne sais quoi in those crazy action sequences, right? People remember that Bad Boys 2 car chase. It's a Ferrari on a causeway, and they blow up the whole city. They blow up everything. And compared it to, like, you guys have seen Rocky 4, obviously, right? Rocky 4 is you've never seen it?
I've been seen in spirit.
Okay. Well, I will say this. Rocky 4 is one long training music montage video, okay? With dramatic scenes in between and then a boxing match that solves communism, okay?
Yes.
Thank God.
We need it again.
Yeah.
3-2 dropped the ball. It didn't fix it. It didn't solve our issues with Russia.
God, they didn't hack in during a boxing match. What Bad Boys 2 had was like insane action sequences with stand-up comedy in between.
Yeah.
You had a lot of that here, but the sequences just felt shorter. That's all.
And what I actually did enjoy more in this movie, not comparatively, but just as its own film, there were a lot more scenes where you got to know the characters as characters and not just like, I'm retiring. It's like, you can't retire. And it's like, that's what happened for 3 movies.
Yeah,
totally.
In which I'm fine with.
Yes.
Because Martin Lawrence deserves to sleep, but also, hey, you bad boys ride together, die together.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy all the scenes where you have the captain and Will Smith sitting down and they're talking there. And like, we can talk about the story he tells, because at first I'm like, I have no idea what this man is saying. But the other scenes where like Martin Lawrence gets to be really honest with him and he's serious with him, and you're like, oh, okay. Like Will Smith does disrespect him sometimes as a kid. Like Mike disrespects Marcus sometimes, but overall they love each other, and Marcus does have a family. Like I actually really bought the scenes because they're good actors, and I thought the directors actually did a pretty good job getting those performances out of those actors. Yeah. So I appreciated that compared to the other movies where it's like, oh, I can actually believe this. Like I can't remember the last serious scene like that I've seen in a Michael Bay movie, except for The Rock, maybe. Yeah. No, not in Pain and Gain. None of the Transformers. You can throw those away. So so with these new directors, I actually really appreciated that in comparison. But everything's pretty paint by numbers in this movie. Yeah. And that's okay. And honestly, like I said this, there's some dumb stuff, but overall, I enjoyed this movie, and I wouldn't be mad watching it again. It's like I'd watch it on a plane, I'd watch it at like a barbecue, I'd watch it like with buddies, like you play a drinking game, every time something blows up, boom.
Yeah. I can't wait to see
You get less drunk compared to 2, but you'd still get drunk.
Well, you're blacked out by 35 minutes in. I think that because I've like watched so much television and we have so much TV now, that we get these extended like long character dramas and like action sequences across long shows, right? That movies almost seem short to us now. Like it almost seems a little rushed when they're not, right? In a movie like this, I think with longer sequences or something like that, you could have drawn out certain things. You thought it was a little too long at certain points, but I think every movie now is gonna be paint by numbers. You just add The Rock into the Fast and Furious, and you just added some life into it. This. Who knows if they make another one? If this makes money, which I hope it does, and they make another one, what do they do next? I would imagine they would merge with the Fast and the Furious.
We were joking, and no spoilers, but based on how certain things wrap up. But the joke was either it ties up to Fast and Furious, or it ties in with Suicide Squad.
Either or.
Or this was personally my favorite because it's Sony property. It ties into Men in Black.
I throw out 21 Jump Street, like a 23 Jump Street, but it's way too serious.
Because I know when we were leaving, a lot of people had a lot of positive things to say about the new. Obviously, this is Martin Lawrence's Will Smith show, but we introduced the new Ammo Squad, which has Vanessa Hudgens, Alexander Ludwig, like you were talking about, and Charles Melton, and it's led by Paola Nunez,
who's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
New crush.
Yes,
new crush.
Yes, very much so.
Goodness, it's her and the girl from Uncut Gems. Not to bring that up.
Yeah.
Christ.
But so, would you like more movie? Like, I could see them doing more movies where this team kind of is the focus, and Will Smith or Martin Lawrence are they're the guys in charge and like or whatever.
I think that it can totally work.
Yeah,
I really do. I think
they really sold us. I watching the trailer, I'm like, oh god, it's young kids being like that.
Yeah.
But they genuinely made them like their own distinct characters outside of the two main guys, and they all worked off of each other, and then they ended up liking each other in a natural way, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think that you could have really lost us with the young kids, right?
Yeah.
Do you know the scene that like sold me on the young kids was the club scene, which you have to have in every Bad Boys movie. There has to be a club scene.
Oh, it's Miami,
and it's Miami.
Yeah, like you pointed out with the lady, it's Miami. What are you going to do?
They don't have chain restaurants like Chili's. You can go to a club, and you go to Zillions.
Yes, duh. Yeah. Everybody goes to Zillions.
Where you had
on
your
Wednesday.
birthday.
That club scene, and Vanessa Hudgens, who for all intents and purposes has always been just kind of cotton candy, is badass in this movie.
Yeah.
She's badass, and I'll say this. I know it was like a creative move, but just putting those braids in her hair just made her more badass. Like you just gave her that badass thing, and it's such a small little thing that they did that was probably like, we need to just make her look badass. Give her braids, give her like the side shave, but with braids. It was a really cool like launching off point for. I mean, you could get an Ammo movie, you really could, with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence being like side characters. You could get a Bad Boys 4, which, listen, it was so hard to make Bad Boys 3 that. Calling it Bad Boys and not Bad Boys for Life for the fourth movie, I totally understand. But if you're going to spin this off, there are so many different things that you could do right now. And I love the 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street thing. Like the combination of that, L.A., New York, it's...
A traveling one. Oh wait, they did that. They did Men in Black and Spider-Man last year, and they were both Europe traveling movies. Maybe don't do that.
Maybe don't do that. That would be really funny.
The treatment I wrote for Bad Boys 3 was... They end up in Australia, and Hugh Jackman is the the main drug cartel kingpin of Australia.
That'd be great.
That is shipping some new drug to because this was not drug based.
Yeah, I
appreciated actually.
I do wish there had been jokes as if there was a Bad Boys 3 that we just didn't see. You know what I mean? Like this is the Bad Boys for life.
Like the end of 22 Jump Street, where you see all the sequels, like, and it just like plays like little mini movie trailers.
Like before the credits roll, it's like the end of what would have been Bad Boys 3, and you're like, wait, what is this? Oh, now we're moving on to this.
Yes.
I will say that I found this movie entertaining and a lot of fun to watch. It is a little challenging in 2020 to watch a movie where a bunch of cops are running around, like breaking into places, breaking people's hands, and being like, therapy, that's for losers. Wait, you want us to use non-lethal rounds? You want us to respect citizens' rights? Are you kidding me? And it's like, because we live in the real world, and in the real world, when you make a task force with a fun name like Ammo, that's destroying civilians' lives. Is what that is there for.
That's what is that? The militarized tank going
through
like a
it's
neighborhood.
In Straight Outta Compton at the beginning.
And
exactly.
so it's one of those like this is it made things slightly less fun because it made me think about like the world I live in, and it's like these people are not the best in my world.
There's a whole scene where it's like to sum up, it's them finding like validation through God to go and fire a gun to a crowd, and I'm like, I was like, it's funny because Martin Lawrence is saying it.
Yeah.
But if you like,
if it wasn't Martin Lawrence or Will Smith, it's like, oh, this is
John
rough.
Bernthal's Punisher character saying that, you're like, you can't, Spider-Man, but get here and kill this dude because this is bad news bears.
So what would we rate? So it was 17 years for this to come out, right?
Because like we were talking before the camera started rolling.
Yeah.
There have been long-awaited sequels.
Yes.
To things in comedy. Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Zoolander 2.
Yeah.
There was a third one that they just totally botched too. I forget what it was. But this is, for all intents and purposes, it's a comedy action.
Yes.
I don't know what you would call it. Like, there's no dramedy word you can mish in there, like ship it, right? But for all intents and purposes, this is a comedy, in my opinion, right? And you could have botched this terribly.
Yeah.
With like I said, like a Zoolander 2 or Dumb and Dumber 2. I can't wait to watch this movie again. Like, I might go back to the theaters this weekend. I might go sit with my wife and like we just do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I really, really enjoyed this movie. This is going to be one of those things that's going to stay in my DVR. It's going to have a sick rewatchable factor to it.
Yeah.
I think as it lives on, people are going to like fall more and more in love with Bad Boys for Life. 100%.
I very much enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I don't know about in theaters, but unless like if I went with a buddy, like if I went and saw it with like. I took my brother to the screen. My brother and I love this movie, so it's like it would have been.
Did your brother love it?
I'll take my dad. He enjoyed it.
Okay.
He enjoyed it like as much, but if you think about it, he's like, I can't. But my dad loves it, and I would take my dad. To
He's a freak out.
Ford v Ferrari left theaters.
Yeah,
you got a new dad movie.
Yeah. So we like to do fun.
You're a cerebral guy, though.
Yes.
And your opinions on movies are very succinct and professional, whereas Numbnuts and I over here.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me right now.
Just like guns, guns. What was your like total impression coming? Because I haven't really gotten your total impression.
I liked it. Again, it was tough because it's like the stuff
like Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2.
I did not like Bad. I will say this. Like watching Bad Boys because we recently, because of our episode, we did Bad Boys 2. Watching that, it's like the way Michael Bay directs. That is his aesthetic. Like that is the way he does things. And so this didn't have the hugeness of it, but I will say I thought the action was a little more spatially succinct. Okay. Michael Bay like goes for like the visceral feeling you have, and normally it's like where it's happening, where is everybody?
Like 7 buildings blow up, and you're like, thank God no cops died.
Yeah, you're like, what's going on? This one when action was happening, I kind of knew where everybody was in relation to each other and all that stuff. So it was like a trade off. You know what I mean? It wasn't as assaulting, but it wasn't as like that elevated to like. Whatever. So I think I enjoy it. Weirdly, I think I enjoyed it more than Bad Boys 2. But I do think they should go to therapy. They were all like, "Hey, therapy, that's for pussies." I'm like, but seriously, you guys might want to consider it. That's all I'm saying. So let's give our ratings. I think like we like to do fun numbers. I say let's do out of 17, the 17 years.
Cool.
So out of 17.
Okay, so I was discussing this last night after like my third gin martini after the movie. Because I was like, as I said, you remember that like the first time you got drunk and how like overwhelming it was? You don't drink, right?
No.
You're no drinker.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes.
You know how like you were like, this is what it's like. I get it, right? That's I walked out of bed. I was like, I need to watch this again because it was so fast paced and so like just dense for me, right?
Yeah.
That I walked out and my buddy was like, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5. For doing out of 17, I'm gonna give it like a 16 out of 17.
There you go.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's keeping that bad boy's crown.
100%.
So wait, no, but now I gotta ask you.
I FaceTime my brother at like midnight last night. He has 4 kids. He's like, what? I was like, Bad Boys was awesome. He's like, cool, I'm going to bed. And he's like,
So can you are you in a position where you feel like you can rank the 3 Bad Boys?
yes.
movies? Okay.
100%.
All right.
2, 3, 1.
Wow.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's actually what I do. I
Yeah.
do that as well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie. I'd give it a 15 out of 17 because of fun numbers.
Yeah.
I'll give it a letter grade 2 just to make it easier for myself. C+, but it's like a 79.8
Yeah.
bullshit number. Basically, it's right on the cusp of being like a really solid B, but like entertainment wise, I give it an A. Like I had a good time watching the movie.
That's what you're supposed to get out
Yeah.
of these movies.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't wait to watch this again.
And also, we got what was it? Was it motorcycle and the little thing you put next to the motorcycle? Where
sidecar.
The sidecar.
The
Yeah.
sidecar.
Yeah.
It
Sorry.
was literally a missile silo.
Yeah.
It was like a 50 caliber
Gatling gun.
Yeah.
And weirdly, the dog was riding in there. That's where that guy had his dog. Anyway, I would give it probably like a 14 or 15 as well, like a C plus B minus, but not just similar to Underwater, where it's like, yeah, I enjoyed this. You know what I mean?
Which one was underwater?
It
just
literally
came
just
out.
came out. Yeah. No Will Smith or Martin Lawrence in that.
okay.
A lot less funny. But we would like to know in the comments whether you guys are going to be watching, if you're going to go check out this movie, and if you do, what your thoughts are. Josh, what you said a minute ago, you can't talk about something you're doing. What are the things that you can talk about that people should check out?
So I am basically right now kind of like in a holding pattern because they're going to, I think next week their press release goes out for the show that I'm working on. Cool. So just pay attention to my social media at Josh Macuga, Twitter and Instagram. And I think you guys are actually really going to enjoy it. I think it's for everybody. It's a show for everybody. It's for nerds. It's for foodies. It's for moms, dads, kids. Like it's a totally family friendly show. You can watch it with everybody. And I'm super excited for everybody to see it. I can't even tell you what network's on, but just like pay attention to the social media. And then promos are going to start going out. You may see my face on like a bus or something like that, which is pretty wild. Yeah.
I will say,
We got to bring you back then on the podcast. We could just talk about the production and everything. That sounds cool.
I will say, based on what you've told us, it's not only sounds like a great idea. It sounds like one of those like, why hasn't that been done before? Totally. Like it's rare to find. Like everybody wants to find that thing that it's like, oh, this is something people should have been already doing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this is one of those things. So it's very exciting.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for bringing me on. I've seen you guys in so long, but I really, really love being on the show with you guys. Like this is my kind of show. I love doing it. I'd love to talk movies with you guys anytime.
Hell yeah.
We love having you.
We'd love to have you back. Please, anytime. Is it always open?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We'll give you a key. You can come in whenever you want. At Sam Bashor, at DJ Talks Trash,
Yes.
and at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid.
Go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers to watch all this live if you'd like to, and subscribe for more reviews and content. We'll see you guys next time.